Hello, my horror-loving dudes. I'm KillJoy Jake, and today we're talking a little bit about Terrifier 3. The good news with Terrifier 3 keeps rolling in as we learn more about its theatrical release in 2024, as well as when it will drop on Screambox. Let's get into it.
Well, sometimes that is better.
Now, as we learned in my last Terrifier 3 update, which should pop up like right here, and if it doesn't, I'm gonna look like a jackass. Terrifier 3 is officially coming in 2024. It'll be the darkest film in the Terrifier franchise, and we just got news today that it's going to have a theatrical release. Cineverse, Bloody Disgusting, and Screambox have acquired North American rights to Terrifier 3 from filmmakers Damien Leone and Phil Falcone. Variety first reported the big news this morning that the film is scheduled to have a wide theatrical release next year in North America, followed by its exclusive debut on Cineverse's streaming service Screambox. So this is unbelievably exciting news. It's basically going to be the same setup as what we got last fall with Terrifier 2, where it dropped in theaters for, it was only supposed to be there for like a week or so, but then it ended up being in theaters throughout October. I see the same thing happening with Terrifier 3 here, and then right after that, it will exclusively, and I can't stress that enough, exclusively go to Screambox. Listen, I'm not sponsored by Screambox, but if someone from Screambox is watching, throw old Jake a bone. My email's at the bottom of the screen right now if you want to send me something. Just saying. I'm just saying, man. Ladies and gentlemen, you can't win if you don't try, so I apologize for the shameless plug. Let's get back to Terrifier 3 stuff. Now, for today's video, I'm using Bloody Disgusting's new Terrifier 3 article they just posted this morning as a source, and I want to quote something that Brad Misko wrote in here because I feel like it captures the essence of why I love this franchise so much. Misko wrote in today's Bloody Disgusting article, "In a time where everyone feels like they're walking on eggshells, Team Terrifier popped the viewer right in the nose and didn't give a who it offended. There was something so refreshing about that experience, and it excited me in a way I hadn't felt in quite some time." I could not agree with that more, and it is so refreshing. So many movies nowadays are trying to grab like everybody as the audience, when maybe they should just be focusing on a single demographic, just like how Terrifier 2 does very, very well. I really cling to movies, projects, people who are like that because I've just always felt that way myself. I get a lot of people telling me to stop swearing in my videos, and well, I don't really give a fuck. Unfortunately, I still have to censor it though because Team YouTube and Team Terrifier don't exactly have the same mindset. Without that very distinct aspect to Terrifier 2, it would not have been as successful as it was. It stands out and has risen to the top for that reason. It's my favorite slasher movie of all time. Us horror fans should be losing our minds right now because the next 2 Octobers are stacked, man. We got Saw X, Five Nights at Freddy's, and VHS 85 this October, and the next October, we're getting Terrifier 3, probably. Maybe it comes out in September, but probably October. All right, but now let's talk a little bit about this Damien Leone interview with Variety, because Damien might have said a few interesting things about the next film. One of the first questions that Damien is asked is, how will Terrifier 3 build off of Terrifier 2? He answers by saying, "I want it to feel as if the audience coming into this one isn't as comfortable with Art the Clown as they feel they are now. I want to see if I can make them really scared of him again." Once again, harking back to my last Terrifier 3 update, this was something that I've heard Damien Leone talk about many times in interviews with Joe Blow, Variety, many other people. He really wants Terrifier 3 to be ultra scary again, where Terrifier 2 definitely got a little silly. Admit it, you were laughing at the bedroom scene. It was pretty damn funny. When Art the Clown runs in all excited with the bleach and the salt, I was like, dude, stop! What is going on? I think that this is a great direction for Terrifier 3, though. I don't want it to get too campy or ridiculous. I love the level it's at right now. We don't need to push that any further. Damien understands that. We're gonna get to another question in a second where he kind of doubles down on that idea. I'm hyped to talk about it. The second question Damien is asked is, given the notoriety of the gore in the second film, do you feel pressure to top yourself in Terrifier 3? He answers that by saying that he's had sleepless nights where he's worried about that specific thing. He has no idea if he's going to be able to top it or if he's going to bring something special to the fans. My man doesn't want to disappoint, and I appreciate that. Now, even though he's worried about that, that does not mean he has no tricks up his sleeves, my friend. This guy's a fucking magician. Leone talks a little bit about how there was a deleted kill in the original Terrifier that was supposed to happen to Jenna Cannell's Tara character. Apparently, it was just too much after the hacksaw kill. He didn't want to take away from that, which I respect that decision. That's one of the greatest kills I've ever seen on screen. He says it's been on the back burner for a while. It wasn't even in Terrifier 2, so he might recycle that and put it into Terrifier 3. Now, on top of all of that, Damien says that a month ago, he came up with another idea that clicked in his head and he said, wow, this is the next bedroom scene. Apparently, we'll know what it is when we see it. Fall of 2024 cannot come soon enough. I'm going to be aggressively ripping pieces of my calendar off every single day until I get to see this bad boy. The last question of the interview is, has there been any constructive criticism you've taken away from fan reactions to Terrifier 2 that you're keeping in mind for Terrifier 3? I've been trying to summarize this whole video so it doesn't just seem like a guy reading in a video, because that would be really boring. But this one I kind of have to read for you guys. There's a lot to pull from it and a lot to discuss. Leon responds to that question saying, I wanted part 2 to have a Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors vibe to it. That was my tone in the back of my head, and I knew I was really going to embrace this supernatural and fantasy element. I also knew I was going to alienate a handful of fans going that route. I personally love it. There's a lot of people who didn't love the fantasy, or at least they need more explanation as to why that's all happening. I didn't want to explain everything in part 2, so I'm going to explain as we go. But the biggest mistake I could do now is double down on that fantasy aspect. That's why I want to course correct a bit. Let's go back to Nightmare on Elm Street Part 1. As opposed to going further into Dream Warriors. That could be very helpful criticism and help me make a better movie moving forward, but we'll see. Okay, so first of all, I just want to say, Damien, I totally agree with you, man. Like, you are on the right track to making a killer third entry in what is already going to become one of the best horror franchises ever, let's be honest. But don't completely lose the fantasy elements, because here's the thing, I see a lot of people online who are saying, I liked Terrifier 2, but I didn't like all the supernatural stuff. And like, listen, a fair criticism, but Art the Clown has always been supernatural. In the first Terrifier, Art the Clown is revealed to be supernatural towards the end of the flick when he comes back to life at the coroner's office. But then going even further back into the past with All Hallows Eve, Art the Clown is way more supernatural than he is in Terrifier and Terrifier 2. Damien realizes this, and I do too, that there are a lot of fans that just want Art the Clown to be some guy in a mask killing people because that is scarier. It's closer to reality. It makes it feel like this can really happen to you. But I would argue that Terrifier still has that element even though it has the supernatural force behind it as well. You still have scenes in Terrifier 2 where Art the Clown is essentially just a guy in clown makeup with his big old bag of tricks. But then, you know, he breaks through a sliding glass door, he rips somebody's eye in half with a scalpel, starts taking pieces out of them, pours bleach and salt into their wounds. I mean, that's all things that could really happen. It's a really horrible and awful way to go, but it could really happen. Terrifier 2 specifically did not make that sequence supernatural though. Like, sure, you have the whole clown cafe thing going on, which is like, what even is this? Is this like the Terrifier dimension? Is this Art the Clown's little pocket universe that he can just escape to? I don't know. We'll find out in Terrifier 3, hopefully. You also have the ending with Sienna that gets a little supernatural and all that too, but like, there are entire sequences of that film that don't have that at all. Like, you don't have that in something like Nightmare on Elm Street 3. Like, a lot of that is supernatural because it's killing someone in a dream, which, to my knowledge, you can't really do that. You can't just incept someone's dream and start killing them. This isn't a Christopher Nolan film. This is reality. In a lot of ways, I think Terrifier 2 found a way to have its cake and eat it too. Like, it has those sequences that are very real and Strangers-esque, if you catch my drift. But then it also has these Dream Warrior moments as well. It does both really well because they're separated. They're not together in the same sequence. They have these real-life sequences and these fantastical sequences put together. But they never mesh. They never like completely melt together and become the same thing. But on top of all of that, you gotta keep it real dark, because that's the only reason why the fantasy elements work. I said this earlier, but Terrifier works because it's so simple. It's just a clown running around killing people, and there's something vaguely supernatural about said character. But if you lose what is the core of your story, a clown who loves to kill people, enjoys it, laughs while he's doing it, and kills people in the worst ways possible, the whole thing falls on its head. They found this middle ground between like ultra dark and ultra campy that I love, and I hope they don't lose that, because it's just the right amount, like that 70% dark crazy kills with like a 30% camp fantastical feel. I'm wishing nothing but good luck and positive vibes to everyone working on Terrifier 3. This is the movie that I'm the most excited for moving forward with, and I can't wait to see it. Get it in my brain, get it in my eyeballs. Damien, take my fucking money. What do you guys think about Terrifier 3 being darker, going to theaters, and then also going to Screambox again? Leave me something about it in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching this new Terrifier 3 update. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more horror content in the future. Please consider supporting me on Patreon if you want to see this channel grow, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.